Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Art of Finance channel here on YouTube. My name is Kyle. I'm a brand new investor to the stock market here, as well as a brand new content creator on YouTube. And I look forward to building a great community here along the way and bringing some quality content, helping everybody's investment portfolio and life quality, hopefully. Happy holidays, first off, to everyone. Hope everyone's with their family, happy, healthy, making the best of these rough times that the country is in for the most part. It doesn't seem that way in the economy, however. As you can see, this market has been on fire. We have turned around from the March lows and not looked back at all other than a few corrections. There's companies taking off to prices that no one could have ever predicted they would have hit this year, and there's companies that have went bankrupt that no one would have ever predicted this year. Uh, it's truly a K-shaped recovery. As much as it looks like a V in the indexes, there are a lot of older companies, out-of-date technologies that are going under right now. And my goal with this channel is to share with you my views on world sentiment and where we're going into the future. And like I said, to hopefully help you along the way with your future investments and trades. I believe this is the next roaring 20s that we're entering into, and it's going to be a bull market for a while here. Of course, there's natural corrections and pullbacks along the way, but I expect the 20s to look a lot like the 10s. I just entered the stock market in May with the stimulus checks and hearing about the March crashes and all the crazy things going on with the recovery. Got interested, got on Cash App and saw that they had investments, started going through things, and noticed some crazy things going on over the days and got interested. So downloaded Robinhood, Webull, and here we are, 6, 7 months later. I've been involved with Blink Charging, Neo, Xpeng from IPO. I've been on top of the EV market, the cannabis sector, solar power, financial technology, so many different things that have sprung to life here since the pandemic, and I hope to share future things with you here. A couple of new ones today, like JP Morgan coming back into the financial area. Some of the banks are going to make it, some aren't. Banks are definitely not looking good for an outlook here for the next 5 to 10 years, but JP Morgan, Citibank, a few of them will make it. Also, new things like gene editing. There's a lot of different things going on in the medical community right now. Tons of companies, tons of biotechnology companies that are just coming out with great new advances, and I think there's going to be a lot of breakthroughs in the next decade coming up here. So stay tuned. Watch out for some of the things that we're going to see. Going to highlight CRISPR here to show you that today. And of course, we have Tesla included in the S&P 500 this week. Shot up over almost $700. $700 was a lot of people's price targets for the end of the week, and it almost hit it. It got really close. We all saw after hours was crazy volatility. We expect a little bit more of that coming into the week. But Tesla is definitely one of these companies for the future that's going to have a strong run, I feel like. Alright, so enough of the intro, I guess. Let's get into some charts here and get on with the show. We got the S&P 500 spiders up here first. It's a bit of a down day on Friday to finish, but there was crazy volatility. Of course, with the quadruple witching Friday, it really lived up to its name, as we saw a lot of volatility spiking to the downside throughout the day and a lot of buying back up in the last hour, as I expected, with the contracts expiring and people loading up for the next round here. So like I said, get ready for some action in the next quarter to come. Broke out to all-time highs this week, hit 372.80. So all 372.46 on the daily. Um, Not really too much to say. Definitely on an uptrend. I don't see anything wrong with the slight pullback that we had on Friday. Looking into this chart, we see that there is really no room for anything to go wrong here unless we fall below this 363 line in the next upcoming week. That would possibly signal a correction back to the downside and maybe testing back in this channel in the 350s. Um, there are always possibilities for a pullback or a correction. Short term, a lot of people are calling for a pullback right now. A lot of people are calling for a crash or a top in the market right now. But those are the more traditional investors that don't really understand the amount of new technology and the companies flooding into the markets. I'll be talking about in different videos coming up the amount of IPOs and SPACs that have hit the markets recently with some incredibly successful outlooks for the future as far as companies like DraftKings, and which I've talked about in my first test video there. Um, there's plenty of SPACs. LCA is another one coming up out of there soon. FIAC actually just merged with Skills, which is an online gaming platform, which is going to be a huge future platform coming up here, I believe, with esports becoming more and more popular and relevant moving forward. There's been League of Legends players signed for $5 million contracts a few years, so definitely some things to look out for here. Gonna move on here. Go ahead, get out of the SPY. Nothing really too exciting to see here. The Qs, as you can see, have really been the shining star of the recovery. They hit bottom and just took off. Hit a quick W victory formation and keep on running in the same direction here. I do see a lot of selling off in the tech sector coming off, going back into the more cyclical, well-known names as we move back into the recovery phase with the vaccine rolling out. So Qs might be something that you might want to put a short-term short trade on or just stay away from in general for the time being. And then as you can see here on the right, we have everybody's darling Tesla. Tesla, my Esla, as a well-known YouTuber calls it. You see it broke out of all these trading ranges. It hasn't really left this wedge. Well, it hasn't really came back to test this top of the wedge here. It's been falling wedge after falling wedge on Tesla, so after this run up, if there is a falling wedge pattern to follow, I think this might be an epic squeeze afterwards. As you can see, every time there's been a small wedge, they've left all the shorts behind and just laughed all the way to the bank. So Tesla's definitely going to be something to look out for coming up into the inclusion. I'll go ahead and zoom in on Tesla here for a second, as I want to show you the end of the day, what happened for quad witching. It ran up all the way to nearly test 700 there, and then finished back off here in the 677 range there. Definitely an exciting day in the Tesla name. Some really strong bullish action as it ran down to test the 200 period simple moving average there on the hourly, and just stayed above it really all day. That was probably the only good trade here, was picking up a call from here, because as we know, Tesla premiums are crazy, so we'll see what this volume brings on Monday. I'm really expecting Tesla to start pulling back. We saw a double top right here and then a drastic just pull back, so I don't know. We might stay in line, it might just keep riding up, but eventually there will be a falling wedge formation or some type of a pattern here for consolidation, because I don't see this as sustainable as far as moving back up here. It could be, of course it could be. There was a lot of volume to the call side, I believe there was a $2 million order for $800 Tesla calls put out or something like that. I don't have the exact statistic on me or article on that one because this is more a spur of the moment video, just trying to get some quality content put out here for you guys. Now, as far as with Facebook, there has been a lot of controversy around the big tech and monopoly names lately. And Facebook's the first one up to the test here. They aren't breaking down yet here, so we'll see what goes on in the future with them. I really like Facebook for the future, along with Microsoft, Amazon, all of those bang names. The monopolies are in danger with Biden presidency, as he was talking about cracking down on the more monopolistic policies and practices. However, I believe that their business models and ways of practicing business in general are just really great as far as you don't want to take away from them. So we'll see how that works out. If they have to divest some of their different branches, they would be great names as well. Maybe go IPO, take their own companies, and become a great part of the economy themselves. So Facebook and the FANG names are definitely going to be things that still grow in the future. I was watching a video with Kathy Wood from ARK Invest. You'll hear me mention her and some of her investment strategies a lot. But she mentioned Facebook back in 2016, and I got to looking back at their chart here. Let me go ahead and maximize this for you. Now, in 2016, she was talking about Facebook as something that was a brand new has-been technology, already peaked past its time already. But that was because she was talking about it from IPO. And when it dropped from IPO and gave people time to analyze it and realize what they were investing in, it stayed in this $17 to $25, $30 range for an entire year. It gave people an entire year. That's only 6, 7 years ago now to load up. And when she was talking about it in February of 2000, January of 2016, I forget exactly when the video was from, but it was trading in the $100 range. So that was a 5x on your initial investment when you got in, rock bottom, averaged in, understood what you were investing in. And then from here, you can see we've almost 3 times your money again, almost. So from the bottom, that's almost a 15x if you rode it all the way out. And I still think there's a lot of gas in the tank. A lot of people are calling for this to be a multi-trillion-dollar company, and I believe it. Next, we're going to talk about JP Morgan here. We got JP Morgan in the financial sector. As you can see, all these other names that I've shown you, they've all gotten well over their February highs, I should say, from pre-COVID. But JP Morgan, they're still slagging. They're one of the laggards, one of the more cyclical trades in the bank sector, as Bitcoin and financial technology, which will also be a big topic on this channel, has taken over the market and just completely rocketed. But some of the bigger banks like JP Morgan and Citibank, they're going to be positioned to stay in the game and transition themselves over into the crypto and digital currency areas and arenas. So don't worry about the bigger names, they'll be alright. JP Morgan I really like. Citibank's alright here. We could pull up Citibank's chart. It's really similar in fashion. As you can see, the cyclicals really follow each other for the most part in terms of price action. But a few of the banks are okay. Some of the banks are not in the greatest of shape. Goldman Sachs is actually the best out of all of them here. Might want to look into Goldman Sachs over any of the other ones, to be quite honest. However, you have BlackRock as well. You can always invest in BlackRock. They are the government, as I like to say. As you know, the Federal Reserve gave BlackRock power to almost manipulate the stock market in terms back here in May, June. And the amount of volume that was put in really didn't move it too much. But this move that's happened since, boy oh boy. Alright, while we're here, I have a quick second to show you guys something that's taken off. This is the Trading Desk, a Canadian-based company. They do trading. They trade stocks and they manage money. This is almost like ARK Invest, but they've just taken off. And so far, this goes to show you gaps don't always have to get filled. And if a company is doing really good at what they do, they're going to keep growing their business, growing their amount of revenue, growing their earnings per share, and that's going to drive the stock prices higher. I know a lot of people have been waiting for a top on TTD and wanting to short it. There was a couple after it gapped up, but not really too much action here other than this first pullback. So there's some quality stocks out here that are going up for the long term that do not want to pull back. Trade Desk and Tesla are a few of them here. As you can see, I've been a pretty big fan of Tesla for a while here. Haven't got to charting this latest move yet, but I definitely got that breakout. This is on the daily, so if you don't see the candle that I see on the 4-hour chart, I'll show you. Yeah, you can see, ran up there. Learn how to chart, paint by the numbers as you'll learn here on the Art of Finance. And you'll easily be able to figure out exactly when a company is going to do what it's going to do, especially something as volatile and positive an outlook as Tesla. People want to short it down, and there's only so much shorting they can do before it consolidates and there's nobody left to sell. Everybody's buying Tesla. You can short it all you want, man, but you're going to have to keep going to the bank. Alright, we're going to move on to our last stock here. It's CRISPR, a gene editing company. And CRISPR has done a lot with modifying DNA by putting in, injecting RNA and turning off different genes in your body. There's a lot of fancy things going on. They're working with not anti-aging, but slowing the aging process. They did a test on lab mice in 2019 to reverse aging, and it had some successful results, but it looks like they're turning around and doing some good things now, holding up into this bullish flaggish formation. So we'll see what's going on with CRISPR. There's a few other names I like in the gene editing business as well. Editas is another one with the exact same formation here. And then there's a couple other ones, but they're all more speculative. ORTX would be more of a buyout opportunity. I would think a bigger company comes along and buys them out, but they are really undervalued right now. So, but definitely look at Editas and CRISPR Technologies there. So, or CRISPR Pharmaceuticals. I'm not sure on their official name. I should be. Therapeutics, there we go. Yeah, but CRISPR I've been a fan of. I've been following. That's another one of Kathy Wood's holdings there in ARK Invest. And this one actually looks like it's getting ready to take off here soon. It's been holding this support line, just sort of riding the road. Volume weighted MACD. All these indicators are lagging indicators. They don't tell you anything until after the fact, but the price action looks bullish. The volume is bullish. Well, you can't see what it looks like here, but there's a lot of volume, good volume in here. Definitely a play to keep your eye out on. And another reason to suggest that we're entering another bull phase of the market here. Of course, like I said at the beginning of the video, we might have some short-term pullbacks along the way, but that's just part of the market. This was a bit of a longer video as I wanted to introduce a little bit more of a style and get a feel for making videos and showing you all my way of thinking and process. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if there are any questions, feel free to leave a comment, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and come on back. There will be plenty more videos in the future here showcasing more stocks, future investments, and theses on why they are good investments and why these companies will succeed in the future. Like I said, if you liked what you saw, please give the video a like, as I'm just starting out and could use every single thumbs up and subscriber I can get. So thank you, have a good night, happy holidays. I'll probably have a few more videos out in the week before Christmas here, so I'll talk to you later. Have a good night, guys.